A landforms adventure. A landforms adventure. Focus question. What are some landforms and how are they created? Road trip. I live in Boston and I just found out that I'm going on a road trip. My parents and I will spend part of the summer driving on Interstate 90 all the way to Seattle. My mom told me that we're going to see some amazing landforms along the way. Mountains, plains, rivers, lakes, and lots more. My class is learning about our planet and the forces that create different landforms. It'll be so great to see some landforms in real life. One more week of school and we'll be off. In class, my teacher, Mr. Lopez, explains that Earth is like a hard-boiled egg. Earth's core, like the yolk, is in the middle. The outer core is liquid and the inner core is solid metal. Both parts are incredibly hot. Earth's mantle, which is like the white of the egg, is made up of weak rock. It moves very slowly because it is very hot, almost hot enough to melt but not quite. Earth's crust is like the cracked shell of the hard-boiled egg. Thicker parts of the crust are usually huge land masses called continents. Most of the thinner parts make up the sea floor under oceans and seas. Both parts of the crust contain different landforms. Mr. Lopez also explained that Earth's surface is always changing. He said that some changes take place so slowly and peacefully that we might not even notice them, while others happen really fast, often with violent force. Both types can change existing landforms and create new ones. We also learned that Earth's crust is made up of huge pieces of rock called tectonic plates. The plates float like rafts on top of the mantle, and when the mantle moves, it carries the plates with it. Two plates can bump up against each other, slide past each other, or move away from each other. These different movements are the most important underground forces that create landforms. Sometimes small areas high in the mantle get hot enough to melt and become magma. This melted rock can push up to erupt at the surface as lava. As lava cools and hardens, it can build up and form a volcano, which is a type of mountain. As tectonic plates and magma change Earth under the ground, other things are happening on the surface. Weathering breaks down rock and shapes it. Erosion carries away the pieces that have broken off, called sediments, and later deposits them. Wind, water, and ice are the main tools of weathering and erosion. Mr. Lopez handed out a list of different landforms. I'm going to take the list on my trip and try to see them all. Getting ready to leave. Mr. Lopez's list includes some landforms here in Boston, so I started with those. Mom and I went to Castle Island, which is in Boston Harbor. It's not really an island since it's not surrounded by water on all sides. It's connected to the mainland on one side, which makes it a peninsula. But you can see a bunch of islands from there. Boston Harbor is part of Massachusetts Bay, an area of water connects to the Atlantic Ocean. Boston is on the east coast of the North American continent, an incredibly huge piece of land. On the road, Boston's terrain is rolling, going gently up and down. The hills and valleys grow larger as we head west on Interstate 90, and we seem to be climbing higher. Dad says we'll soon be a part of the Appalachian Mountains called the Berkshires. I've read about the Appalachian Mountains, but as we keep driving, I don't see any tall mountains. That explains that because the Appalachian Mountains are very old, erosion has worn them down to big hills. Across New York State, the land is low and hilly in some places and higher in other places. That says the higher places are parts of a huge high area of land called the Allegheny Plateau. The high land built up over time for sediments deposited as a result of erosion. Do you know? The large plateau in North America is the Colorado Plateau. Plateau, which is the part of Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico. After stopping overnight in Buffalo, New York, we continue west. The land is much lower and flatter as we drive along the south shore of Lake Erie, which is one of the Great Lakes. A glacier carved the basin for the Great Lakes after 14,000 years ago. They are Earth's largest group of freshwater lakes. Mom says we'll see another one of the Great Lakes, Lake Michigan, when we get near Chicago. We stay overnight in Chicago and then get back on the road. After entering Wisconsin, we drive past the capital city of Madison. Downtown Madison sits on an isthmus, a narrow strip of land between two bodies of water. I grin and check it off my list. After driving for a while, we stop to see the Wisconsin Dells. The Dells is a gorge, a steep, narrow valley that are carved by the Wisconsin River. Along its sides are canyons, which are similar to gorges, but not too steep or narrow. Now it won't be long until we see the Mississippi River, which is one of the longest river in the world. This part of the Mississippi was mainly carved by glaciers. After we cross the Mississippi, we are in Minnesota. Soon, we'll officially be in the Great Plains. I learned in school that a plain is a large flat area without many trees. The Great Plains formed when two tectonic plates smashed into each other and joined together. Some parts of the Great Plains are flat and others are hilly. We stop overnight in western Minnesota and drive into South Dakota the next morning. It's pretty flat until we get near Badlands National Park. We hike in the park and see some amazing rock formations. After an overnight stay, we drive through a corner of Wyoming and past the Bighorn Mountain on our left. Some of the mountains have snow, but Mom says even bigger mountains are still to come. After we cross until Montana and pass Billings, Dad says, get ready to be impressed. Not too long after, I let out a whoop as I see a row of high, snowy peaks, the Rocky Mountains. The Rockies are one of the main mountain ranges in the West. They formed when two small tectonic plates beneath the Pacific Ocean slid onto the North American plate. After driving across Montana, Idaho, and Washington, I'm excited to see water again, but I'm more excited to see Mount Rainier, a huge volcano. Dad says that Mount Rainier grew so tall because hardened lava and ash piled up in layers over a long period of time. We drive into Seattle, which is next to Puget Sound and arm on inlet of the Pacific Ocean. We've reached the end of Interstate 90 and our search for landforms is nearly over. One landform to go. For our final stop, we travel 1 hour north to the Skagit River Delta. This landform was created when settlements built up where the river flows into Skagit Bay. I've seen some amazing landforms in this trip, and I've learned so much about how Earth's surface changes. I can't wait to tell Mr. Lopez about my summer vacation.